Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. It's a brand new year. We hope you're starting the 2023 in the best way alongside your family and friends. We have a lot of possibilities, a lot of opportunities to do and be different, opportunities to keep punching and keep following that wildest dream we have been trying to achieve all over the years. Today is a special day. We bring you this very iconic producer and director from Canada who's going to talk about his path, his career, his goal and dreams. He's going to talk in particular about this phenomenal movie, Kiss and Cry, a movie which portray a real story. I'm talking about Sean Cisterna, who gave us this honor, this privilege to be able to talk to him so we can know a little bit more about what he's willing to achieve in this year. So stay tuned and don't forget to follow us on our social media. Hi, Mr. Sean. How are you doing?
Good, Sergio. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too.
So how's your day going?
It's been a successful 2023 so far. I woke
Yeah.
up healthy, all good.
No,
Yeah. How?
that's a great news. It's a privilege, a really honor to have you here.
Oh
We
gosh, thank
pray.
you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for real. We were praying here like, oh man, we're waiting for the minutes to be able to talk to him.
Oh, too funny. Thank you very much for your reaching out and thinking I'm worthy to be on your show. So thank you very much.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. So, how do you analyze the film industry nowadays?
How do like just in general sort of thing?
Yeah, I'm talking about the possibility. I'm talking about the possibility to create your project, to turn your project into reality. How do you
Okay.
access
Yeah.
the whole platform?
Yeah, well, I don't know. For me, I look at my colleagues around the world, and they tend to make these, at least in the independent space, these dark, dramatic films that go on to festivals and win major awards. But I feel like that type of content is all very dark and depressing. Mostly, I would say. Like
Okay.
every time I turn on an indie film, it tends to be less than optimistic or hopeful. So for me, I kind of look at the reverse. I look for like a good story that might be full of more hope and optimism and spectacle. Because I don't know, I think we all need just that counter programming option. Like we've been surrounded by despair for the last couple of years, especially with this pandemic. So I think audiences are looking for more hope content.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
kind of where I step in. I just don't have the same I don't know, sentiments as my colleagues around the other independent filmmaking space may feel.
Do you think we are lacking this kind of stories? You were talking about romantic films that portrays true stories. Do you think we are lacking this kind of story? Look to the fact that lately we're producing more superhero movies.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, whether they're full of hope or not is a different story. They're certainly big spectacle films, but I'm talking about more in the independent space where kind of I operate. The smaller budget films that are made for public consumption, but don't necessarily get the biggest, widest release. Because we still believe in cinema as an art form, and that's kind of the mentality that we're taking after it. So yeah, I mean, I do think that we do need some more hope in our storytelling, and that's kind of where I love to thrive, giving those inspirational stories a platform to shine.
Yeah, but what is the meaning to be? What does it mean to be a filmmaker for you?
I think what does it mean to be a filmmaker? Well, I
Yeah,
think we have a
yeah,
duty to entertain people first and foremost. People sit down to watch a movie because they're tired and they want to escape their daily life. And yeah, I mean, I think we have a duty to entertain people. I also feel like if we're particularly cerebral, maybe we can make the audience ponder a question or think of a certain theme. But yeah, and mainly it's to entertain and to provoke. I think that's the duty of all filmmakers, and to tell a good story from A to B to C, and have them take them on that journey through a character and kind of explore a theme along the way. I mean, being a director is like being a purveyor of taste, is how I heard it once said. And so we're bringing our own tastes and thought processes to the films that we make.
Yeah, it's interesting, the idea of telling stories when you try to bring to turn into reality that story you have in the script. Because I know that there are a lot of scripts that they don't even have the possibility to be turned into reality. Can you tell us the why? Because I know you're a producer and a director. Why being this? Why being director, and why be? What does it mean to be a producer? Look into the fact that we have a lot of professions, different professions in the film industry.
Yeah, I think I know it's kind of odd usually focus on one or the other, but I feel like and a lot of my colleagues feel the same way, is that we are, as directors, most passionate about our projects, and it's hard to convince producers to come on board right away, right up the top, when your idea is just kind of germinating. So being a producer, and training myself to make films and develop films, being a producer helps me push the boulder up the hill a little bit faster, through my sweat equity or passion to develop a project early on and have it gain some traction and some legs, so that when the time comes, it's easier to trigger and to finance. So producing is something I detest doing, but it's like a necessary evil that I kind of have to undertake to get my passion projects off the ground. And when I go into production on a film, I tend to focus more on the creative side of things, and work with actors and camera departments and all the other creative departments. But that's where I pass on the baton and let another producer step in for me and manage the production and budget. I just think that's the smartest way to work. I love being a part of the financing and pitching to broadcasters and distributors, but when it comes time to be on set, I'm only focused on the creative elements.
Well, that's great. I recently watched the Kiss and Cry. I might say congratulations. It's a 100% phenomenal movie. I see Kiss and Cry. You see those kind of movies that you can watch the whole movie without crying. That movie is so touching. I really mean it, because I was watching the movie with my girlfriend days ago. It's still like, wow, this kind of movie. Those movies are hard, difficult to watch. Because are more harder, because when you realize that there is a real story behind that film. So can you tell us about the process of producing this movie? Can you talk about the lesson you had from producing this movie?
Yeah, so Kiss and Cry was a film we did in 2017. It's the story of Carly Allison. She's an up-and-coming figure skater and singer, and as she finds love, she's diagnosed with this incredibly rare form of cancer. So it was a touching project to be a part of, because we made that film in collaboration with Carly's family, like the real person who the film is based on. Her family was very involved in the production, and so it was a beautiful and challenging project to be a part of, because we were reliant on Carly's family to help us. So we shot the film in Carly's school, that where she went to school and studied. We shot the film at the same ice skating rink where she trained, the same hospital where she was treated, and we actually shot in her, her family's home, including her bedroom. So it was pretty an emotional production experience for everyone involved, because her death was fairly recent, and it was just a beautiful way to pay tribute to a remarkable young human, and but it was a challenge as well to for the story to be so fresh. But when the film came out, it inspired a lot of people. Netflix picked it up and acquired it for worldwide distribution. So that was the beautiful part about this. It's always amazes me how, like, a locally made story, like I'm from Toronto, in Canada. And so it's amazing how these locally made productions can find an audience around the world. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, there is a point in there. I realized that Sarah Fisher was actually Carly's best friend. Can you tell us the meaning behind this? Why bringing a Sarah to this main role in this film? What does it represent?
Yeah, so Sarah Fisher plays Carly Allison, and they were friends in real life. So it meant that number one, it was like just a lovely way to pay tribute to her best friend, but it was also just saved so much time, like, on set. There was no need for me to kind of communicate what Carly might have been feeling at the time, because Sarah was so intimately involved in her life, and she knew exactly who Carly was. And she was able to help with the performance as well. Like, I would lean on her for support. So and it just made the entire production just more special. It felt like everybody in the city kind of wanted to help out and contribute to the film, and that's a testament to both Sarah's passion as an actor and Carly's legacy as a human.
Yeah. Just to close the chapter, do you feel realized as a director, take to the fact that you had the opportunity, the privilege, or you were leading the production of this film? Do you feel satisfied when you look behind and say, like, well, I had that movie in my portfolio?
Yeah. I mean, that's the beautiful part about making films. I have a lot of friends who are actors who work on the stage, and once they perform at a venue, maybe that experience is lost, and that's what they love. They love those intangible moments where they are connecting to an audience live, and then that performance is lost kind of forever. And only exists in the audience's head. But what I love about filmmaking is that we can do all this work and kind of capture it in digitally for forever, or on film forever. And I think that's the what I love about the filmmaking process, is that it is everlasting, for as long as the technology will be around.
Yeah, I know you have a lot of you have different projects, but can you talk about the Long Ride and the Fallout? Just quickly, can you tell us? I mean, you can take the time you need, but can you talk about Fallout? Because Fallout, I know that is one of your last projects. And can you talk a little bit about Fallout?
Yeah,
What this project means to you?
Yeah. So well, I'll start with Full Out, this project right here. You can only see half a poster, but Full Out was the story of Ariana Berlin. She was an up and coming gymnast, and just as she was on her way to the Olympics, she suffered a major car accident and has to learn to retrain her body with the help of her coach, and that's Jennifer Beals, who played Coach Val from UCLA. So it's another one of those true life kind of inspiring stories, and also Netflix picked that up for distribution around the world as well. So it's an uplifting and inspiring film. And then same with the Long Rider. That's my most recent film, and that's the story of Felipe Leite, this young kid who grew up in Canada. He was of Brazilian origin, but when he is no longer allowed to stay in our country of Canada, he rides a pair of horses from Canada to Brazil to try to make it back home to his family. And so that was a documentary that we made during the pandemic. I was supposed to make the real life version of that, the narrative version, with actors and cameras and crew, but the pandemic shut down borders, and I was no longer able to travel with and make that film. So we made this documentary instead, because all the footage existed, and what better way to keep busy during a pandemic lockdown than to make a film. So just very early on in the pandemic, we hunkered down and kind of spent our lockdown time making this film. And I don't know. I feel like once an opportunity presents itself, and the time presented itself, it was the right decision to make. And thankfully, we did it. The film went around the world this past year and won like 16 different awards at different film festivals. And it's amazing how far like a film that is made in the height of the pandemic can just allow you to travel afterwards and connect with audiences, the kind of the exact opposite, the way the pandemic kind of shut us down. This was a way to kind of break free and connect with those audiences live once again, which was great.
Yeah. Do you imagine yourself producing or directing a superhero movie? I'm asking this because it's like you love producing or directing this kind of stories, looking to kiss and cry, looking to fall out, looking to the long rider. I'm wondering here if you would accept a challenge to produce or direct a superhero movie.
Not produce, that's for sure. Directing, sure, yeah. I who wouldn't love to work on a big budget spectacle, for sure. I think that from at least from what I've seen recently of superhero films, they are incorporating like a more, I don't know, unique and kind of special tone to them. I think directors are elevating the genre and incorporating their own spins and make it somewhat different and unique for an audience. So yeah, I mean, I'd love the challenge of working on a superhero film, but it just does seem so foreign to me, because we're used to working with cameras and actors in a physical location, whereas these superhero films are very much done in a studio on a screen. And that seems to be like the I love the production process. I love going through hell to make the film. It just seems so I don't know, how do you bring a superhero movie to life without making it feel fake? You know what I mean? I just it's these concepts that are in these films are so otherworldly that it would be hard to kind of make a real world comparison. And but that's the challenge of these projects. So, and clearly they're popular, Sergio. People around the world love them. And
they do. They do. No, but it's awkward the way people run to see a superhero movie, comparing to a romantic movie, inspirational movie. Look, I don't know, but this is the reality we are in lately.
But maybe we make one for them, one for us. That would be the ideal sort of.
But can you tell us about that project you feel proud of? And is there any project, when you look into the list of your projects, of your works, do you have that project that you see like this is the biggest project I've worked on? And
Well, I loved 2018. I kind of challenged myself because for the most part I was producing films in Canada only, and so I made this film called From the Vine, which we shot in Italy. So it was a co-production between Canada and Italy. So two countries got together to kind of pool their resources, and we were able to make From the Vine, which we shot in Acerenza, Italy. And we hired an actor. We sent him the script. His name is Joe Pantoliano. He's an Emmy winner. He won the Emmy for The Sopranos. He's in The Matrix. He's in Memento, Risky Business. He's a kind of a classic actor that I've always wanted to work with. And so I would say that would be my biggest production, being able to bring a crew from Canada, combine it with a crew in Italy with this big Emmy-winning American actor. And we made a film set in an Italian vineyard. And that came out during the right before the pandemic. We went to these different film festivals around the world. It was a beautiful thing to see Joe win so many awards for his performance. And then the film was picked up by Samuel Goldwyn Films, a big distributor in the United States.
Wow, that's great.
So to see that film travel so far and get a release in the US, again, it was during the pandemic. So, but I think what made it successful is that people couldn't travel at the time and used our film as a way to maybe escape the the confines of their home and go on a trip to Italy through the film. So, and again, it was full of hope and optimism and humor, and I think that it touched a chord at the time it came out.
Just going back to the point you were talking about the pandemic, can you talk about those hardships, the limitation we had during your work when you remember the time of the pandemic? Because COVID-19 actually was a kind of a challenge for all of us. But looking to your work, to production, to your projects, did you have those hardships? Did you felt like there were some kind of project that weren't turned into reality because of the pandemic?
I think the biggest challenge, I mean, looking back, I think the biggest challenge was not having the tools to deal with it, like being physically together on set, not having those tools to protect ourselves. So it took a bit of trial and error to figure out a way that we could make movies safely. And what I loved about it was that everybody took it seriously. And if they wanted to work, they would, mask up and stay physically distant. It was just a totally different way of making films, because it used to feel like a family. We'd come together in this small location and intensely work together for a period of 3 weeks to a month. And then we'd all go our separate ways. But this was, because we all love filmmaking so much, we kind of worked under these new guidelines, and only a quarter of the crew could step on set at a time, do their work, step off, and the other team would move on safe. Loved, and were able to give audiences what they wanted to see during the pandemic.
Can you tell us about secretly about your plans for this year?
No, I don't know if they're necessarily a secret, but
because you might have those kind of projects. Say like, well, I can't tell about this project right now because I need to surprise the world.
Oh no, not at all. Well, I still want to make that narrative version of the Long Rider back here. Yep. Yeah. So we are looking for funding to turn that documentary into a narrative movie. And so we have some partners in Brazil that we're working with, and we're starting to do some casting and see who are going to play the roles, and just the logistics of getting a cast from Canada to Brazil is going to be a unique challenge. So it's almost like a road trip movie, but on a horse. And so we're tackling this major project, and there's a lot of moving parts to it. But that's that could take 1 year, it could take 3 years to raise the financing. No one ever knows. So we just kind of do the best preparation work we can in anticipation of possibly filming that this year. But with the reality is that it might happen in 2 years or 3 years from now. So, I mean, I have some other projects on the go. I'll be making a Christmas film in February and March. Canada is pretty well known for that, because we have the weather to go along with Christmas. It feels like at least 6 months of the year we have snow on the ground. Yeah, and some other television work as well. I'm doing a TV pilot in late January. So there's always different productions on the go.
Can you tell us why is that difficult to get someone finance I mean a film, your project?
Yeah.
Why is it too complicated?
It's so complicated because there's never just one source for a film. Maybe in the United States it's different, because a studio can finance everything, but in the independent filmmaking world, movies are financed from multiple different sources, and so it's very difficult to get one person to say yes, and which would give the confidence for everybody else to say yes. So convincing that one individual to come on board, or that one funding system, or organization to come on board is the most challenging thing. And you have to be able to communicate your ideas really well and kind of paint a picture of what the film will look like to a prospective funder, and to talk about where the film will be released afterwards. You have to think as a filmmaker, a producer, what the movie feels like and how you're going to get there, and then where the film will find an audience afterwards. That's always a challenge. So to convey those things and rise above the other talents in the filmmaking community is always the challenge, because everybody has a passionate project they're working towards, and it just maybe it's a battle of who has more passion, or who has what story is more timely. Like that's always the challenge, where it fits in the stream of independent film pitches.
But where do you see and how do you see yourself in the next maybe 5 or 10 years from now?
Oh, well, I don't know. I think it's just I get I don't know if the word is frustrated, but I don't know. I get bogged down by the amount of change happening in the industry. So it seems like every 6 months there's a new disruption happening, and we all have to retrain ourselves to adapt to a new changing film landscape. Before it was, just thinking back to the early days, it was, the debate of whether you shoot on film or on video. And then sort of the digital revolution kind of took over, and we no longer shot movies with film. Now they're, for the most part on digital, Alexa cameras or Red cameras. And then the distribution has all changed. People aren't going to the theater as much anymore to get their steady diet of films. They're watching them on television or through streaming. So there's always seems to be a new disruption happening every couple of years that we have to adapt and change, or else kind of we get left behind. So in the next 5 years, I don't know, for me it's just keeping up with this tidal wave of change and being as adaptable as possible, because if you don't adapt, you're going to get left behind. And if you do adapt, you're just, you're taking all the knowledge you've gained throughout your career and just applying it in a new way. So it's both exciting and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah. Can you tell us about your biggest inspiration in the film industry? There might be someone, there might be some producers, some directors, some filmmakers, actors, etc., that give you this motivation to be part of the film industry.
I don't know if it's that. I think it's stories give me the most inspiration. Like I'll read quirky stories out of the newspapers or magazines, and if something kind of I don't know, sticks in my head after a few days, I know it's an idea kind of worth pursuing and being inspired by. So I don't know, these stories I read in books or magazines or newspapers, and they're often about protagonists, often youth, who have this inspirational quality to them. So I don't know, I see those stories and I get inspired. So I don't know if it's one specific individual that I'm kind of looking at, but I know I'm inspired when I read something and it's still there, a few days later.
Yeah, but is there something that makes you different from different directors, from different producers? Is there some any secret when you look to yourself and say like, well, I think I'm different because of this thing?
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I tend to I mean, like I said, a lot of my colleagues like the dark, dramatic sort of style of filmmaking, but I direct these heartwarming and inspirational films, often starring youth protagonists, and they're mixed with top talent. So I think I'm pretty good at telling movies with heart because I'm a romantic at heart, and I married my high school sweetheart. So
Oh, wow.
showing like a a loving relationship on screen is what I kind of excel at. I care deeply about my work and elevate my work where it becomes to the point where it becomes maybe globally recognized. That's kind of always what I strive to do, and yeah, not afraid of being a romantic, and that's just kind of what I grew up with and kind of love.
Yeah, that's a quality. That's a quality. Being romantic is a quality in this world.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah,
you?
I'm manly enough to say
that. Yeah, we're running out of time. Can you leave an advice for dreamers all over the world?
Oh, I think honestly it's using the amount of time you have left to chisel away at those dreams. I think I read something last week that there's only like maybe 800,000 hours of life that you have. So if you count every hour as just one, you're just getting closer and closer, that those hours will run out. You start to realize the importance of hours and what you want to accomplish in that hour. So for me, it's like break down the amount of time you think you have left, and leave a legacy behind. And for me, that's kind of what I do. I take every hour and kind of maximize it to its potential, and whether it be a small sort of act that might help your community, or provide joy in someone's life, or an opportunity for someone else by taking them for coffee and giving them some advice, or making a connection for someone, or being creative and writing a script or an idea down, or making your film. Anything you could do to chisel away at those dreams and push that rock up the hill is what I'd say. Use the most of your time.
Wow, that was very profound. It was it was a pleasure to have you here on Chat with Legends. We hope to have you here in the next episodes, and we'll be praying and wish you all the best in this 2023. May your projects, your new project turn into reality. May you have new contracts, new people to finance your project, and you see your wildest dream become true.
Hi. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes. Thank you very much for your time today. And it was an honor speaking with you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Hope to see you in the next episodes of Chats of Legends.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thanks. Yeah. People say wonderful conversations change the day for the best. We had a great day today talking to Mr. Cisterna from Canada, who told us about his projects and dreams for this year. It was a pleasure to have you there. We hope to count with your presence in the next episodes of Chats of Legends. Have a great day. See you in the next episodes of Chats of Legends.